Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today it was exposed on the Joe Rogan podcast that over 1,000 times the number of shares that actually exist are traded in companies like AMC, Gamestop and many others. Trust me guys, you do not want to miss this video. So stay tuned and let's make some money. But before I dive into the video, I just want to give a massive shout out to the 900 of you that have currently dinged that notification bell, because you guys are always the first to watch a new video as soon as it's released. So be sure to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell if you haven't already, so that you don't miss another video just like this one. And now I want to dive straight in with the key information. So this guy here is Adam Curry, who is recently on the Joe Rogan podcast. Adam Curry actually helped set up a lot of very large entertainment-based websites like MTV.com. He was also a chief technical officer and took a lot of companies public. Therefore, he's experienced all of that Wall Street BS before, and he's been through pretty much everything. So he really knows what he's talking about. So let's watch the clip of exactly what was said.
NASDAQ, we're a publicly listed company, and the shenanigans and the lying and the cheating at that level of publicly listed companies was astounding. Where a guy would look at, we got a deal, it's done, consider it done. We put out a press release, which is a big deal if you're a public company. And the guy just turns on and fucks you for premeditated, or accounting shenanigans, or stock shenanigans, how stock prices are manipulated. This is why GameStop exists. This is the same young, mainly men, but a lot of women as well, who are disillusioned. GameStop is part of Bitcoin, I would say.
And by that, I think he just means that, people that are investing in AMC and GameStop are the same kind of people that are investing in Bitcoin to fight back against the system, fight back against those big institutions and those hedge funds, and just overthrow Wall Street and the whole fraudulent system.
GameStop is, we know that you're cheating on these companies like GameStop and AMC, etc., Nokia. You're cheating. You have a lot of shares that you say you have, but they're not really in the system. So we're going to show you, and we're going to fuck you by buying all the shares that are available, so your short position goes through the roof. And it didn't end. These GameStop is still at like $200-300, and now other hedge funds have come in and they're eating themselves.
And by that, I think he means the good hedge funds that are helping us apes out. Obviously, there are some good hedge funds like Vanguard and BlackRock that are long AMC and own millions and millions of shares in AMC, and are also trying to push back against those corrupt and more fraudulent hedge funds like Citadel, for example.
So this game is over. And
by the game is over, I think he just means that the game of the fraudulent system, as in Wall Street, trying to play all the regular people, it's over. We've gotten onto their tricks and we're pushing back and we're gonna win.
Whole stock market is, if you look at the DTCC, it's the clearinghouse. There's probably 1,000 times more shares of every company that is traded than actually exist.
And there it is, exposed right there. Thousands of times more shares that actually exist are traded. But how can that be? How can more than 513 million shares that are in issue for MC actually be being traded right now? Well, obviously, you do have that 513 million shares of actual shares that are being traded. There's then options against those shares. There's synthetic shares, because obviously market makers can just decide to create shares if they want, if they can't locate a share. For example, if a hedge fund wants to short some shares, it's the market maker's job to find those shares and locate those shares for the hedge fund to short. But if they can't find them because none of the apes want to lend their shares, they just decide to create some synthetic shares to be shorted, or just naked shorted, as in shorting shares when they haven't even found them. And this is exactly how it's so corrupt. If you've ever seen The Big Short, where there's CDOs and synthetic CDOs and CDOs squared, and it's all just people placing bets on the outcomes of bets on things that don't even necessarily exist. But how is this being exposed on the Joe Rogan podcast good for the AMC stock and good for the AMC short squeeze? Well, obviously, Joe Rogan has a lot of outreach. Back in spring of 2019, he said that he gets over 200 million podcast download per month. With 18 episodes per month, that means each episode gets approximately 11 million downloads per episode. That's potentially 11 million new apes just hearing about the AMC stock and the AMC short squeeze for the first time. That's 11 million new apes that could decide to set up a trading account and buy only one share in AMC or GameStop to help out the short squeeze. If they decide to buy more than one share in AMC, say 10 shares, that's 100 million new shares that could be traded in a single day after watching this podcast. Evidently, Joe Rogan is very publicly known as he recently sold his podcast to Spotify for $100 million. Obviously, he still records all of the episodes, but instead of just solely posting them on YouTube, he posts them to Spotify as well and was remunerated massively for it. Typically, Joe Rogan's podcasts host sports people and sports personalities, and therefore it's probably going to be a very different market that have watched this episode to the market that currently invests in AMC, and therefore lots of potential new baby apes. I think we just need more and more stories like this coming out and exposing the DTCC and those market makers and the hedge funds and the corrupt practices on Wall Street to really get this movement continuing even further. The aim of the AMC movement isn't just to squeeze the AMC stock and to squeeze the shorts, but it's to show Wall Street that they can't mess around and do stupid and illegal things any longer. Guys, let me know down in the comments below what you think about this being exposed on the Joe Rogan podcast and what you think about thousands more shares being traded or thousands of times more shares being traded that actually exist in stocks like AMC and GameStop. Guys, if you are new to the AMC movement and you want to pick up some AMC shares but you haven't even yet signed up for a trading broker, be sure to check out the links down in the description below to get some free shares, whether you're in the UK, the US or in Europe, with low minimum deposits of £1 or $5. You can currently get 2 free shares worth up to $2,300 on Webull at the moment if you're in the US, and a free share with free trade worth up to £200 if you're in the UK or in Europe. And as always guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my others. Alternatively, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.